Hi everyone. I know you might be confused because why does a total stranger is talking in Flotalendy's channel? I present myself, my name is Maven, and I am the one that has been behind the most recent Crowva cancellation in this year. And today I'm paired up with Flotalendy and Jet to talk about the type of person Crowva is. And yes, please, I'm going to now leave you with the victim so you can, know her story. Please be respectful. And without further ado, let's get to it.
Hello everyone, my name is Kit. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm here making this video today on a GotchTuber whose YouTube channel had gone through a growth spurt recently, and my experience with her with intent of bringing light onto her actions. This video is going to contain serious topics, so trigger warning for anyone who needs it. This video is going to contain sexual topics, mentions of suicide threats, grooming, and manipulation. So now that we've played out the trigger warnings, we can finally proceed into the video. People involved in this video are me, Crowva, V, an associate of Crowva's, and Z. All the people mentioned who were involved in what happened do not want to be involved in public drama, so no real names have been used. Obviously, that excludes Crowva and I hope we can all respect that, as that is what it's supposed to happen. But please, do not under any circumstance harass anyone. I'm gonna repeat, do not under any circumstance harass anybody. All I ask of you is to watch this video to an end. So, who's Crowva? Crowva is a GotchTuber, or rather a gotcha ranter, who makes videos on gotcha creators who she deems as problematic. Her content consists of video essays, aka the rants, yap sessions, which are videos where she would just go live and simply chat with her fans. Her current YouTube channel was created on June 7th, 2023. She has around 11.1k subscribers as of the time I'm making this. You may be wondering, well, how did you get involved with Crowva in the first place? Crowva and I had gotten into a drama, which I won't be talking about as it's irrelevant to this, almost completely. So I added her on 7th of December 2023. Crowva and I resolved the drama in private DMs and everything ended there. We didn't really interact afterwards. However, soon after that, I went through a breakup with a partner of mine, and Crowva seemed to hear about it from someone who was involved with the breakup and her. Regardless, she had nothing to do with the breakup, but she DM'd me and asked me if I was alright, gave me some advice, and comforted me, which led into us talking more. And so we ended up as friends. During that friendship, Crowva and I would flirt sexually, but all as a joke. So I didn't mind it as I completely disregarded the age gap, and I thought it was just fine since it was all shits and giggles. She asked me if I was alright with it, and I was. I thought it was all just a silly joke, so I told her I was in fact okay with it. Crowva and I were joking as per usual, and she had told me that she was high, so I acknowledged that. I also did mention people not getting mad over the fact that I dated someone who was known to be 16 in the past, but that relationship was not predatory. Not all relationships with 3-year age gaps are predatory, but with such a maturity difference, it can easily be one. During that relationship, that person never asked for nudes or done anything near what Crowva has. That relationship was the first and last relationship I'm ever having with a 3-year plus age gap. but she decided it would be a good idea to ask me to trade nudes with her, even right after mentioning my age and how much younger I am than her. I genuinely thought she was joking, but I still had to say no as to be cautious. I asked her if she was being serious, and she did confirm. Obviously, I wasn't comfortable sending her nudes, considering how much older she is than me, and the fact that she was under influence. I told her no and pointed out how she was high. I tried to explain to her that you can't even consent in the first place, but she kept trying to convince me, and I did say I almost sent someone who was my ex nudes before, but I remember thinking about how wrongly I worded that. Unfortunately, I don't remember what I actually meant. However, it's quite irrelevant. So after saying no, I felt like I'd done something rude or mean. So I rationally told her I'd sent her a somewhat revealing picture, but it was not meant to be sexual. At the time, I didn't think before speaking, and for some reason I didn't think she would perceive the selfie sexually. Mostly because it wasn't meant to be sexual. I'd even sent the photo to my best friend, of which him and I are strictly uninterested in having any sort of romantic or lustful relationship. The photo was not intended to be perceived as anything other than a regular selfie. Crowva told me to keep my face in the photo, which I found strange, considering the discussion we had moments before that. And so I asked her what she's going to do with it, and she said she would probably ignore it. She was my friend, I obviously trusted her, and I'm very sure that she was aware I did. We went on casually, and we stayed pretty good friends still. We kept the pretty sexual jokes, but he randomly told me that we can't stay friends anymore. Reason being that she developed feelings for me even though she's 16 and I'm 13. I said I had feelings for her as well, but in reality I actually confused platonic feelings for romantic ones. I liked her attention and I craved her validation. When I said it was a 3-year difference, I was not undertaking or underestimating the age gap, but acknowledging it. She said it can be seen as predatory. So I sent her the definition of it, not agreeing or disagreeing, but just trying to help her make up her mind. After some thought, I realized it was just not right. So I texted her about it and I told her so. I'm the type of person to just share everything unless it's too private, like secrets that belong to someone else, or just anything that doesn't involve me, I'll manage not to share. However, if it's about me, I'll probably spill or overshare it without thinking, hence why I told her that. I had told my friend V about what happened, and he said he would keep it secret if me and Crowva dated in secret. I thought he was suggesting it, but that simply isn't the case. I wanted to conversate with Crow, and that was simply the first thing on my mind. So I said it without thinking. That was a mistake, yes, but I still made sure she knew I was not suggesting it. Again, I wanted to know if we were gonna stay friends. But I noticed her Discord bio said something about her having a partner, so I asked her about it because it would just be weird if she liked me while having a partner and was open about it. She said she was poly, and I made it clear as possible to Crow that I was not suggesting anything. Crow did say she wanted to be with me. I didn't want to be mean, so I said it back, but then she started going on about how she'd be dead in a week, which was in January, by the way, and she said she'd be doing a good thing. if she did go with me in secret because she'd be making me happy. She was drunk, and I wanted her to at least be sober, so maybe, just maybe, she snaps out of it. But no. According to her, she wanted it. I asked her again to please just listen. At that point, I was under complete pressure. I mean, I already was before, but now it just escalated even more. And it was simply just so hard to function probably under all that pressure. Not only did she say she'd kill herself in a week, but she was guilt-tripping me by saying that I don't care for her because I wouldn't send her intimate photos of me, which felt terrible given the pressure and stress I was under because of her. I still kept trying to convince her to at least wait till she's sober because at that moment I was simply terrified she'd do anything to herself if I didn't comply or go along. Which was also why I said it depends, not meant in a flirty way, but just depends on whether she was sober or not. I didn't want her to see my body. I didn't want her doing anything to herself because of me. I was terrified. I just felt like if I didn't play along, she'd harm herself, leave me, and believe I didn't care for her. I cared about Crowva. I was ready to sacrifice so much for a friend not to kill themselves regardless of my own well-being, even when I knew she was messing with my head. I told her I wasn't comfortable discussing this whilst she was drunk, yet she completely dodged that and kept on talking. And the only response I was able to muster up was just a dry MK to try and show her that I wasn't interested in discussing such things. But I was too scared not to play along. It just felt like I didn't have much of a choice. Again, she asked me for a bra pic, but at this point, her sexual intent was just straight up not trying to hide. She had me add her on Snapchat. However, do mind, I'd never had Snapchat prior to that day, so I was unaware of how it wouldn't let me screenshot, or that it deletes the messages 24 hours after viewing, which was why I didn't try to say no to her request for me to download it. I also tried to maybe avoid the conversation and just leave it elsewhere, but that didn't work either. I still asked her why she wanted me to download it. I didn't really understand what she meant by so I forget what she did, but I still didn't question it since it felt like that wasn't the important part. Know what she did, saying she wasn't drunk anymore, and I simply believed it because I was unaware of how long it would take someone to be sober, considering I don't normally deal with any of my friends being drunk. And then my Snapchat downloaded, I made an account, so I added her like she told me to. I don't have screenshots of what happened on Snapchat, since it didn't let me screenshot at all. However, I do remember exactly what happened. When I added her, she wanted the photos. Same pressure that was on Discord. I tried telling her if she felt wrong. It felt wrong, and she asked me how that's so. I was so scared to sound mean, so I simply said I didn't know. I remember her sending a text that said, "You don't have to do this, I guess I'll just..." And my response was basically asking her what she's planning to do. She said, "Just drink myself to death." And that just made me feel absolutely terrified. It was scary, and I especially hated losing people. I told her I don't want her to drink herself to death, and her response was, "I'm already pretty drunk," with a skull emoji, implying that she lied about being sober to obtain intimate photos of me. So I asked her about it, and her response was, "Oh, great." I didn't respond for a bit, but then I texted her, asked her to please just get some sleep, and she said no. And that was where the conversation ended that day. I texted an anonymous friend of mine, who we'll call Z, for advice, and he told me to block her. After some convincing, I did, but I couldn't sleep properly that night. I was genuinely so scared she would actually end up killing herself. So I unblocked her in the morning and sent a photo. It felt terrible, but I was scared, terribly under pressure, worried and panicked. I just simply couldn't stop thinking about it all night. Notice how she said she wanted more? Guess how many she got that day? She guessed 4, 6, 12, or even 20? You're wrong. She had me send 33 photos in one single day. I played along the whole day in fear of her doing anything, and I do admit I have gone a bit too much into just playing along, like saying things like I wanted her, etc. But Crowva asked me if I was sure if it was grooming, which she really can't, because in such case I'd be and am the victim. And Crowva herself has said the victim is not in a place to decide if they're a victim or not in one of her Little Deca exposed videos. Her asking me if I'm sure this isn't grooming really shows how hypocritical and unreliable and manipulative she can be. She kept looking for things to validate it. After everything she's done, still demanding for my nude. And obviously, she got them. Crowva asked me to say yes when she asked if it's okay, which was why I said yes. I played along, engaged, and said things I regret saying, like telling her I wanted her. I said I wanted her, I said I wanted to kiss her, I said things, but I didn't mean them. I was under pressure. This whole thing quickly just got too much for me. It lasted one day when I started giving in, but I simply could not bear it anymore. So I texted my friend V again, and I'm genuinely so glad I asked help from him. I told V everything, and so he said if he could tell an associate of hers. And so I ended up agreeing. Her associate DM'd her and dealt with her, which I'm genuinely so very grateful for. After Crowva's associate dealt with her, she texted me saying things were taken far too fast and so. She mentioned twice how I was the one that said it was okay, as if I were the one who convinced her, that which just isn't right. But I didn't want to deal with her any longer, and then she sent the last thumbs up emoji, and there was no contact between us as I'd blocked her. A few months passed and I DM'd Crowva to ask her about one of her live streams. She ends up apologizing. However, the apology means absolutely nothing, because I'm fully aware I'm not the first or last victim, let alone 13-year-old she's harmed. She's apologized to the other ones and they forgave her. I cannot speak for them, but I can say one thing. If she was sorry to them, she wouldn't have repeated her mistakes multiple times. Bro, you knew what you were doing. Otherwise, you wouldn't have asked me to add you on Snapchat. You didn't blame on me when we last talked, saying I was the one who said our age gap is okay. You aren't sorry, because I know damn well there was another person right after that last thumbs up emoji you sent me. There's no denying that. So why am I sharing this with you all? What's the point of making this public? Well, Crowva's platform is medium. She commonly meets people and friends off of, but you have to regard that a large portion of her audience is quite young, like me, and that just leaves space for a lot of potential victims, and I want that to be avoided. What Crowva made me go through genuinely sucked. It was awful. It even led me to terribly objectifying myself. I don't do that as much anymore as I am healing. However, I do want others to be able to avoid what I couldn't. Not to mention how her channel has been going through a growth spurt, where her platform is growing quickly in views, subscribers, etc. Now Crowva might try to excuse with her actions with, I was under influence. You were under influence, yes. That's simply no excuse. Even in court, being drunk doesn't excuse anything. Lessen any sort of sentence or etc. You're completely responsible for your actions, Crowva. If you attack someone while drunk, you will get a regular sentence. Being drunk or high cannot be used as an excuse. Or, well, yeah, but maybe I've already apologized. No, apologies don't make it right. You've also apologized back to past victims of my age, and you were forgiven by them. But if you were really sorry, why do you keep doing it again? You're not sorry. Nor will saying you are make anything fine. I was left in a terrible condition after that incident. I was disgusted with myself. I blamed everything on me, etc., etc. Saying sorry, I shouldn't have done that doesn't mean anything. No difference was made, and you repeated your actions. You could try using the where I live there's no age of consent, but where you live, Australia, there is. And I have not reached that age. Not to mention that there's no age consent where I live, yes, because you have to be married, otherwise you cannot consent according to the laws of where I live. Or maybe you could even try to pin blame on me. No, you're the one who's 16. You're the one who put me under intense pressure. You're the one who wanted to see my nudes so badly. You're the one who was supposed to be responsible. I'm 13, and you're the one who told me they drank themselves to death when I didn't send intimate photos of me. You were 16 and under influence, but I was and still am only 13.
Why we didn't talk about this sooner? Plain and simple, we were collecting information. We can't not talk about this whole topic just with the information we have at hand at the moment, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Even right now that I am editing this video, it has been brought to my attention that Crowva has been body shaming people in live stream, and you know, more stuff like this is coming up, and we're not making any videos unless it's 100% necessary about this topic. But I want you to understand that's my part of the story, because there has also been people that have been misinforming about Flotalendy defending Crowva, and well, she has some things to say about it.
Hi, this little recording is supposed to clear up the accusations I got regarding me apparently defending Crowva and what she has done. Now, for those who do not have context, Crowva has been accused of very serious allegations, which include possessing nudes, blackmailing, doxing, and grooming as well. It's not something to take lightly. And seeing how some individuals try to associate me with Crowva because I have not covered the topic yet really saddens me, because they could simply contact me on Discord and try to have a conversation with me, but instead they would spam my comment section on most of my posts and say that I'm an awful person just because I am not covering her. And I have seen also a lot of gacha renters that I know having that same treatment. So let me put a few things first. Just because I have collaborated on certain dramas and topics with Crowva does not mean that we are friends. We sometimes agree on certain things and we sometimes disagree on certain things. For example, during the Mika situation, I was very grateful that Crowva was defending me and glad that she was very vocal about it. However, I did not like the way Crowva will go out of her way to be very brutal in her words and pretty much turn the entire argument into a wave of insults. But I know this alone isn't enough to prove that I do not see Crowva as a friend. So another argument regarding how I'm not friends with Crowva is that every time that we would work together or have a little chat outside of dramas, it was about video softwares and Apple products. That's the only thing actually we had in common besides drama. So to put it simply, I personally am not fond of people being into drama 24/7, even though I cover lots of dramas. I know, kind of makes no sense, but personally, sometimes I can get overwhelmed with negative information, or information in general, by the way, and I need to balance things out, and it's completely normal, I believe, to sometimes take some distance and work on something positive when things get tough. But I'm kind of getting away from the main topic. So apart from that, how do I know Crowva? Well, to put it simply, it's been 2 years she has been acting this way. If you have seen me working with Crowva in other dramas besides the recent ones, you can tell that Crowva's behavior when it comes to rants and giving criticism has been always like this, but it is in no way connected to the current allegations. The current allegations are, of course, more private. I am not in Crowva servers. I used to be in some of them. However, the fact that there will be constant mass pinging, etc., really made the whole experience insufferable. And I left like a year ago Crowva server just because of that. It has been way too much for me. I hate servers that ping 24/7 everyone. So as you can tell, I wasn't there witnessing possibly Crowva getting along with potential future victims. I was completely oblivious about Crowva's behaviors aside from in the public sphere, because every time that I would ask her, she would be like, I am going through therapy, I'm doing better. But of course, that excuse did not work, because between 2022 and 2024, the therapy apparently did not work and in fact make things worse. Her words, not mine. So, what do I think of Crowva's allegations? Obviously, I do not support them. It's abusing someone's kindness and innocence to profit from them. And as you probably have seen through the screenshots, there is a lot of Crowva gaining than the victim actually gaining out of the relationship. If you see a relationship like that where one is gaining more than the other person, it's a toxic relationship. You should not stay with them. And the fact is, it got so much worse in the span of a few days, and then the excuse of intoxication and pretty much guilt tripping and manipulating into forcing into sending nudes. Like, hell no, that's just gross and awful. I would have never done such a thing. And saying that Crowva does not mind, and when I confronted her about it in private, she would tell me and Maven that the victim was twisting the story, and she would have told my admin months ago that in fact she was being blackmailed because of something she has done. Yeah, obviously I know who is twisting the story here, and that's definitely not the victim. To put it simply, I am just super disappointed in Crowva. The fact that she has lied to my face whenever I would ask her, because the thing is, it's not the first time. It has happened lots of time before, and even 2 years ago, I would just distance myself from the Crowva Underman Deca trio because of how insufferable the three were at the time, at such a young age. One was having child porn, the other one was into doxing, and another one was into nudes. Yeah, definitely, if you were to know one of those three, you probably didn't have one of the best experience, unless you were very patient and very open-minded, which I was not at the time, and I wanted to distance myself from them like a lot. And I really had hoped that Crowva wasn't lying to me and did take therapy throughout the 2 years I haven't gotten close to her. But I guess that did not happen, since she admitted to me that in fact she got worse. And I would like to mention that just because you intoxicate yourself does not mean you are completely out of responsibility for how you demand and pressure people into being in a relationship or sending nudes, for instance. It is your responsibility. You chose to be intoxicated, and you chose to say those words by being intoxicated, and once you were sober, you never apologized to those people. You only apologized when you were actually called out for it, or make a 40-minute video saying how everything people have said about you is wrong without providing evidence, or leaking the actual document exposing you. But I guess you do you. If that's how you deal with allegations. Before this recording gets too long, I just want to end this with two things. One, the reason I haven't made any sort of videos when the entire thing popped up was that I was still dealing with someone else who was not part from the actual document that needed my help. And hopefully people will understand why I did such things. This person was very not confident regarding how to speak about such issues, and I've tried to help them open up a bit for months. And I needed this time and patience and effort into making them understand that this was not their fault and that they had the right to speak about it without being scared or pressured or blackmailed. Second of all, again, I am not supporting Crowva when it comes to those allegations, especially after seeing all the evidence. And I would really recommend her to have a full phone detox. And by that, I mean no more content creation, putting the phone away, no more servers and group chats with very selected people, and actually get into contact with physical human beings, touch grass, do sports and activities that will nurture you, not the internet when you are this unstable. I hope that this cleared some of people's doubts and reasons why they believed I was supporting Crowva when I am not. I'm still very sorry I haven't acted sooner. I just wanted to make sure that everyone involved was ready to pretty much open themselves up. And sometimes revealing your private life on the internet can be extremely scary. And seeing how you would pressure me to cover a topic where people are scared is not something my morals will let me do. Thank you for listening, and have a great day or night, everyone.
Okay, right now I'm going to snitch me out before Crowva does. And I'm going to clear this up before she tries to manipulate the situation into her own twisted story. Yes, I did ask Crowva to help me getting someone down. This doesn't really justify anything, but the person I asked Crowva to help me get down with is a person that made fun of one of my friends' deathbed, and I was really pissed at the moment. I really didn't think of my actions, and I just remembered that Crowva can dox people. But literally, a little later, I really regretted that, and I asked Crowva to not do it, and I refused to gave her any type of information that could like allow her to dox someone. And when she tried to insist, I just ghost her. So yeah, basically that. The next point is that I'm really disappointed on Gacha answers that have been thinking that Flotalendy supports Crowva, yet they don't use a platform to do so. I will understand that you were angry at her, but for not talking about the topic yet, you have talked about it. If you're so angry that someone hasn't covered up a topic, why don't do it yourself? It's very easy to criticize someone without knowing the full context. I know that maybe talking about Crowva won't be like very beneficial to your channel because, you know, Crowva isn't as famous as, for example, Hatsumiru or Late Totally, yet if you really do care about the victims, you will do it, and instead of criticizing people, just say that you don't like that person. I will be the first person to understand, because why do we have a reason to dislike someone? Yet, for the sake of keeping peace in this community, please think before talking, because accusing someone of something as bad as defending a groomer isn't really a great thing, you know? And to wrap up this video, because it's getting hella long, I just wanted you to take into consideration that Crowva has a lot of patterns, such like saying that she's drunk, that she's getting help, yet she's only getting worse with time. And right now, even she's dating a minor, something that's younger than her, that has a big age gap. And I know that when the time comes, she's going to say that this person twists the story when the person realizes how fucked up is the situation. Consent is something both parties must have. Can be withdrawn at any moment, and consent isn't really a thing when you go against the age of consent gap, and when you bluntly manipulate a person with guilt tripping or, you know, self-harm to do so. That's not consent, and if you think it is, please go to seek help. What to do about this? Certainly do not harass Crowva, just recommend her that she has to leave YouTube. Like Flotalendy said, she doesn't deserve nor needs a platform. Her mental health is getting worse, and we do not want to anything major happen aside from what already did happen. And please, if you are a victim of any type of abuse, please reach out to your trusted adult and please seek psychological help. The silence is also violence, and many people, including all victims, decided to stay silent because of fear, because, Crowva hasn't done anything bad, it was their fault, etc., etc., etc. I'm just going to let you know that the same silence you shared between yourselves is the reason and the lead that Crowva is who she is now. You can't expect someone to change if the people in her surroundings coddle her and even tell her that she's not at fault. Crowva is the biggest person and should act like one. Please stay safe and please reconsider who you are talking to. Please, your morals over everything. Respect yourself, respect others, and God bless us another day.